Open quotes. O Lord, God of vengeance, O God of vengeance, shine forth. Rise up, O Judge of the earth. Repay to the proud what they deserve. O Lord, how long shall the wicked exult? They pour out their arrogant words, all the evildoers boast. They crush your people, O Lord, and afflict your heritage. They kill the widow and the sojourner, and murder the fatherless, and they say, the Lord does not see, the God of Jacob does not perceive. Understand, O dullest of the people. Fools, when will you be wise? He who planted the ear, does he not hear? He who formed the eye, does he not see? He who disciplines the nations, does he not rebuke? He who teaches man knowledge, the Lord, knows the thoughts of man, that they are but a breath. Blessed is the man whom you discipline, O Lord, and whom you teach out of your law, to give him rest from days of trouble, until a pit is dug for the wicked. For the Lord will not forsake his people, he will not abandon his heritage. For justice will return to the righteous, and all the upright in heart will follow it. Who rises up for me against the wicked? Who stands up for me against evildoers? If the Lord had not been my help, my soul would soon have lived in the land of silence. When I thought my foot slips, your steadfast love, O Lord, held me up. When the cares of my heart are many, your consolations cheer my soul. Can wicked rulers be allied with you, those who frame injustice by statute? They band together against the life of the righteous and condemn the innocent to death. But the Lord has become my stronghold, and my God the rock of my refuge. He will bring back on them their iniquity, and wipe them out for their wickedness. The Lord our God will wipe them out. Close quotes. Introduction, a call to justice. Psalm 94 stands as a powerful declaration of God's justice against those who oppress the vulnerable and flaunt their wickedness. It opens with an urgent plea, calling on the Lord to rise up and act against the proud and the arrogant. The psalmist grapples with the reality of evil flourishing in the world, particularly how the wicked seem to thrive while the righteous suffer. This psalm resonates deeply in a world where injustice often goes unchecked, reminding us that God sees and hears our struggles, even when it feels like evil prevails. The psalmist's cry for justice echoes through time, inviting us to reflect on the nature of divine justice and our role in confronting oppression. 1. The cry for vengeance, verses 1-3. The psalm begins with a passionate appeal to God as the God of vengeance. The repetition of "O God of vengeance" underscores the intensity of the psalmist's feelings. This plea reflects a deep yearning for God to intervene in the face of wickedness. It's a stark acknowledgement that there are times when human justice fails, and the oppressed feel abandoned. The psalmist's cry is not simply for punishment, it's a longing for restoration and righteousness. In our own lives, we often encounter situations where injustice seems to reign, whether in personal relationships, societal structures, or global conflicts. The desire for justice is a universal human experience. Psalm 94 invites us to bring these cries to God, affirming that He is attentive to our pleas. It reminds us that while we may feel powerless against overwhelming odds, we serve a God who is sovereign and capable of enacting justice. 2. The nature of the wicked, verses 4-7. The psalmist vividly describes the characteristics of the wicked. They are portrayed as arrogant and boastful, pouring out their words in contempt. Their actions reflect a blatant disregard for the plight of others as they oppress the vulnerable, widows, sojourners, and the fatherless. This depiction serves as a stark reminder of the moral decay present in society, where the strong exploit the weak without remorse. The statement, "The Lord does not see, the God of Jacob does not perceive," reveals the wicked's belief that they are beyond accountability. This attitude is not uncommon today, as many individuals and systems operate as if their actions go unnoticed. Yet the psalmist reminds us that God is omniscient. He sees every injustice and hears every cry for help. This acknowledgement challenges us to reflect on our own complicity in systems of injustice and to stand up for those who cannot speak for themselves. 3. The call to understanding, verses 8-11. In verses 8-11, the psalmist shifts from lamenting the wickedness of others to addressing the dullest of the people. This call to understanding serves as both a rebuke and an invitation. The psalmist implores the people to recognize the reality of God's omnipotence and justice. He emphasizes that God, who created the ear and the eye, is fully aware of human actions and thoughts. This section serves as a reminder that ignorance is not an excuse for inaction. As believers, we are called to discern the times and recognize the presence of evil in our world. God's knowledge of our thoughts compels us to seek alignment with His heart for justice. In an age of misinformation and apathy, Psalm 94 encourages us to pursue wisdom and understanding, allowing us to stand firmly against injustice. For the blessing of discipline, verses 12 to 13, the psalmist blesses those whom God disciplines, acknowledging that divine correction is ultimately for our good. This perspective reframes our understanding of suffering and hardship. Rather than seeing discipline as punitive, it is presented as a means of teaching and guiding us in righteousness. God's discipline leads to rest from days of trouble. This theme resonates deeply with the human experience of navigating pain and suffering. The assurance that God will not abandon His heritage, verse 14, brings comfort in times of distress. Even when we face trials, we can trust that God's ultimate purpose is our restoration. But 5. The assurance of God's justice, verses 5 to 16. The psalmist confidently declares that justice will return to the righteous. This affirmation serves as a beacon of hope, reminding us that God's justice is not passive, it actively restores order and righteousness. The phrase, "all the upright in heart will follow it," suggests that God's justice aligns with the hearts of His people, guiding them toward righteousness. In our pursuit of justice, we are called to partner with God in this divine endeavor. We are not mere bystanders, we are active participants in bringing God's kingdom to earth. The assurance of God's justice empowers us to confront oppression and injustice, knowing that we are not fighting alone. 6. The struggle against wickedness, verses 17 to 20. The psalmist shares a personal testimony of struggle, acknowledging that without the Lord's help, he would have succumbed to despair. This vulnerability resonates with many who have faced overwhelming challenges. The imagery of living in the land of silence evokes a sense of isolation and hopelessness. When the cares of the heart multiply, it is God's consolations that uplift the soul. This intimate relationship with God is a source of strength and comfort during times of trouble. The question posed in verse 20 challenges us to consider the nature of alliances we make in the pursuit of justice. Are we partnering with those who frame injustice by statute? This reminder calls us to discernment in our relationships and actions. 7. The Lord is our stronghold, verses 22 to 23. In verses 22-23, the psalmist declares the Lord as his stronghold and refuge. This imagery emphasizes the security and safety found in God amidst the chaos of the world. The assurance that God will bring back on the wicked their iniquity serves as a powerful reminder that justice will ultimately prevail. As believers, we are invited to find refuge in God's presence. In times of turmoil, we can lean into His strength and guidance, trusting that He is working behind the scenes to bring about justice. This trust empowers us to engage in the fight against oppression, knowing that we are upheld by the Creator of the universe. 8. The call to action against injustice. Psalm 94 serves as a rallying cry for justice, calling us to action against oppression. It challenges us to stand up for the marginalized, advocate for the voiceless, and confront systems of injustice. In a world where the wicked seem to prosper, we must not lose heart. Instead, we should be emboldened by the truth that God sees and hears our cries. This psalm encourages us to cultivate a spirit of courage and resilience in the face of adversity. We are called to be agents of change, reflecting God's heart for justice in our communities. This requires intentionality, compassion, and a willingness to engage with the complexities of injustice. 9. Embracing God's justice in our lives. As we reflect on Psalm 94, we are invited to embrace God's justice, not only in the world around us, but also within our own hearts. This means examining our actions, attitudes, and relationships, ensuring they align with God's principles of righteousness. We must strive to embody the justice we seek in our communities, allowing God's love and truth to shine through us. In conclusion, Psalm 94 is a profound reminder of God's justice against the oppressive. It invites us to bring our cries for justice before Him, affirming that He sees and hears us. As we engage in the pursuit of justice, may we do so with the assurance that God is our refuge and strength. Let us be inspired by this psalm to stand firm against injustice, becoming vessels of God's love and righteousness in a world that desperately needs it.